This is the biggest structural weakness of SPC flooring, and it's something no installer can fix at the job site. In fact, we had another call just this month in December 2025. This remains an ongoing problem.
Yes, I'm getting a box.
Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Maru Pacific, your flooring contractor here in Southern California. Today, I want to talk about the real downsides of SPC flooring. Over the past 10 years, SPC has become the most widely installed flooring materials in the industry. And among all the flooring types we install, SPC is the one we get the most calls about after installation. Honestly, almost the only one. That's not because it's a bad product, but because SPC comes with many misunderstandings and false assumptions. One of the biggest misconceptions about SPC flooring is that it is waterproof. I've emphasized this point in many previous videos because it's truly critical. At the time, manufacturers promoted SPC as a product that requires no additional protection over slabs. Many contractors trusted that information and later suffered financial losses because vinyl flooring is not truly waterproof. Despite the marketing, manufacturer warranties do not cover water-related damages, which is an important detail many homeowners and installers often overlook. In most homes, concrete moisture levels are typically around 2 to 4%, and in that range, vinyl floors often seem to do just fine without a vapor barrier. I've seen many installations that are over 10 years old with no issues at all. However, once moisture levels go beyond that range, SPC becomes vulnerable and failure can occur. When boards start lifting or tenting, some contractors stop responding to homeowners' calls, and that's when we usually get involved. Today, the standard is clear and simple. Always install a plastic vapor barrier over concrete. When this step is done correctly, this problem essentially disappears. Even today, we still receive calls from angry and frustrated homeowners asking us to fix someone else's work. In fact, we had another call just this month in December 2025. This remains an ongoing problem. The waterproof marketing led to secondary damage because SPC was marketed as waterproof. Many homeowners installed it in bathrooms and kitchens. In one home, children frequently splashed water out of the bathtub while playing, and the bathroom was on the second floor. That movement cracked the silicone along the molding, allowing water to seep underneath. The SPC flooring itself remained intact, but the subfloor was damaged. If the homeowners had understood that SPC is water resistant, not waterproof, they likely would have been more cautious. In another case I shared before, SPC boards were submerged in water, survived structurally after drying. However, the calcium residue remained on the surface and could not be removed. So even if the boards don't fail immediately, standing water is never a good idea. Spills should always be wiped up promptly. The main issue here is misunderstanding. Many people still believe SPC is fully waterproof, and that belief causes unnecessary problems. SPC has a vinyl wear surface, and compared to laminate, it scratches more easily. Even in my own home, a lightweight plastic children's table left scratches when I moved it slightly. That would not have happened on laminate flooring. Dining chairs are another common sources of scratches. That's why felt pads are absolutely necessary under chair legs. I personally buy large packs, about 120 pieces, because they wear down or fall off over time. In high-use areas, they typically need to be replaced every 3 to 4 months. When moving furniture, always lift it. If lifting isn't possible, these furniture sliders can help a lot. Sofas can also shift slightly when people sit and stand, so for sofas, non-skid pads work better than felt. I've linked all of these products below for reference. SPC stair noses are constructed differently from the planks themselves and are often more fragile. Some are even hollow inside. We frequently received calls to replace stair noses shortly after homeowners move in. That's why we always advise our clients Ask movers to rest the furniture only at the top or bottom of the stairs, never in the middle. The same applies to all other transition moldings. T-moldings and reducers are constructed differently from flooring planks, and they tend to break under forces that would not damage the flooring boards themselves. Thin locking system. This is the biggest structural weakness of SPC flooring, and it's something no installer can fix at the job site. The tongue and groove locking system is extremely thin, and the top portion of the groove is particularly fragile. Thin locking system means they can tear if a subfloor isn't truly even or smooth. They fail under rolling loads such as office chairs, wheelchairs, and hoverboards. Here's an example under the desk chair. The upper part of the groove tore, exposing the tongue, even though the boards were still aligned. This type of damage looks very different from moisture-related lifting. It's caused specifically by rolling pressure. In one home, a family member used a motorized wheelchair, and the flooring throughout the house began popping and tearing. In another, children riding hoverboards caused the damage along every path they used. An assisted living facility installed the vinyl floorings in the hallways and dining areas. Within about 3 months, wheelchairs and the food carts caused widespread failure. We had to replace the section of the floor with the laminate. If the original contractor had understood how vulnerable SPC is to rolling loads, a different material would have been chosen. Under a desk, a chair mat can help, but in an area with the constant rolling traffic, luxury vinyl is simply not suitable. Small level differences can tear the lock. Because the locking system is thin, SPC requires very careful subfloor preparation. It does not tolerate uneven or undulated subfloors. This commonly occurs on plywood subfloors where areas between joints sink slightly, or soft concrete slabs often found in condos. Even small localized unevenness can lead to failure. Luxury vinyl, whether SPC or WPC, is not appropriate for these conditions. In some cases, the vinyl surface layer can delaminate without an obvious cause. Fortunately, this usually doesn't require board replacement. A small amount of super glue is enough to fix it. This issue was more common in the older products, especially the thinner boards without beveled edges. This final point is purely my personal opinion. Many people like SPC because it feels solid and firmly attached to the ground. But at home, I often walk barefoot or in socks, and SPC feels very firm, almost like tile or concrete. Because of that, I usually wear slippers indoors. My wife also preferred the softer feel of our previous laminate flooring. When we eventually replace our floors, she wants engineered wood, and if I'm not rich enough, laminate will be our next choice. Today, I focused mainly on the downsides of SPC flooring. My goal isn't to discourage anyone, but to help you understand both advantages and limitations so you can make informed decisions and avoid regrets later. Many homeowners purchase flooring themselves from other stores and hire us for installation only. Often they were told the product is waterproof and scratch-proof, and later feel disappointed and frustrated when reality doesn't match those claims. To be fair, the majority of my clients are very satisfied with their SPC and WPC floors. However, as I mentioned in the beginning, SPC is the only flooring type that posts installation complaints and frustrations. If you watch enough flooring videos, you will notice a pattern. Flooring dealers, experienced installers, and contractors who have taken the responsibility when problem happens often prefer laminate. On the other hand, designers and real estate agents, people who don't deal with the consequences after installation, tend to recommend LVP much more often. I've even turned down a hospital project because I was asked to install LVP in an area with the wheelchair traffic. I couldn't install something I knew wasn't right for the space. I'd genuinely love to hear your experience, even if they're different from mine. Do you love your LVP or hate it? Your comments and questions are always welcome. I'll continue sharing more flooring knowledges and simple DIY tips in the future video. Thank you for watching. I'm Andrew from Maru Pacific, a flooring contractor in Southern California, and I'll see you in the next video.